Alright, let's get going. Now we're looking at task number 12. Task number 12 is the movement analysis. So we're looking at 4 different exercises as you've got in your portfolio of evidence. The first exercise in task 12 is the push-up. The second exercise is the sit-up. The third one is the squat. And the last one is the shoulder press. So we'll analyze the concentric movement only. For the sake of time, we may not be able to analyze the eccentric movement. So I want you to join us as we look into it. So let's look at the push-up. So we'll look at the standard push-up, which is the bridge for male. So basically, if you remember your muscle contraction, when it goes down, that's the eccentric there. So when it's coming up, that is the concentric contraction of the push-up. So if you analyze the concentric contraction now the first question you've got there are the joints that are involved when you're doing a push-up. When you're doing a push-up, you can see the joints involved. Okay. The first joint is the elbow. Some people might want us to look at the wrist, because there's a slight flexion there, flexion and extension of the wrist. But the main joints when you're doing a push-up, number 1 is the elbow joint, number 2 is the shoulder joint, number 3 is the scapula. So that's very important, the joints involved. Now let's look at the joint action. So go down and come up. So the joint action when it comes up, that is the concentric contraction. Okay, go down and come up. So you can see that the extension of the elbow. Do it again. And you can also see the extension on the shoulder joint, as well as you can see the protraction of the scapula. Now the next thing we are looking at are the agonist muscles. The agonist muscles is the muscle that is performing the movement. So when it's coming up, the muscles that are involved is the triceps as well as the pec, both the pectoralis minor and pectoralis major. Now we did say that the antagonist muscles, if the tricep is the agonist muscle, so the antagonist muscle will be the biceps and some of the muscles that you find on the scapula. Now the next exercise is the sit-up. Now let's analyze a sit-up, just a normal sit-up. So let's first do a sit-up. So basically a sit-up, you sit up. It's a sit-up. So the best technique is to put your arms on the chest. So sit-up, okay, come. So that's a sit-up. Come on, that's a sit-up. So we are analyzing the concentric movement, because going down is eccentric. So when you're coming up, that's the concentric contraction. When it's going down, that's the eccentric contraction. Now look at the concentric contraction. Now if you look at your activity, the joints involved, mainly we have the hip joint. Yes, there might be some slight movement on the spinal column, but the main joint that is involved is the hip joint. You can go down. And if you're looking at the joint action, we've got the flexion, come up. So when it's coming up, we've got the flexion of the hip joint when it's doing concentric contraction. But when it's going down, eccentric contraction, we've got the extension of the hip joint. So the agonist muscles is obviously the rectus abdominis, or some of his ab muscles. And then the antagonist muscles, we're looking at some of his back muscles there. Okay, I hope you understand it. And the next exercise is going to be the squat. So let's analyze the squat now. Okay, so when you squat, same thing, we'll try and analyze mostly the concentric contraction. Okay. Okay, I think you should face that way so that we can look at the side. Okay, ready? Okay, go down. So that's eccentric, come up, concentric. Eccentric, concentric contraction. Now, let's look at the joints involved. When you are doing a squat, the joints involved, okay, go down, let's look into it. The joints involved, there is a slight flexion and extension on the ankle there, very slight. Then on the knees, when it's coming up, is extension of the knee. And of course, there's also extension of the hip. Now, the muscles involved, or the agonist muscle, when it's doing a squat, the agonist muscle are the quadricep muscles. I'm sure you remember the four muscles there. The antagonist muscles will be the hamstring muscles. And the last exercise we are going to do is the shoulder press with the dumbbell. So let's look at the shoulder press with the dumbbell. So if it does a shoulder press, okay, so shoulder press with the dumbbell. So going up is concentric contraction, coming down is eccentric contraction. Now let's look at what we need to analyze. The joints involved on the shoulder press, as you can see, you've got the elbow joint, there's no doubt. Push it up. The shoulder joint, there's no doubt. And then the scapula at the back, there's no doubt. So on the shoulder, we see flexion or extension and flexion. On the elbow, we see, you can drop it. On the elbow, we see extension when it's going up, which is concentric movement. And we see flexion when it's going down. And on the scapula, there is an involvement of the rotator cuff muscles there. So there is a depression when it's coming down eccentrically, and then there's an elevation of the scapula when it's going up concentrically. If you look at the agonist muscles there, the agonist muscles will be the anterior deltoid. Those are the muscles we're working on. And then the antagonist muscles could be maybe some of the muscles on his scapula. So that's basically the movement analysis on class number 12. Thank you.